Hi, my name is Hannah Reynolds, and I am a 6th-year DVM PhD student at North Carolina State University. What that means is I'm getting both my Doctor of Veterinary Medicine and a PhD in Comparative Biomedical Sciences, focusing on comparative endocrinology. I am a member of the Borsky Laboratory, where we study the interactions between leptin, a hormone, and the stress axis, and we use a tilapia model. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about leptin, stress, and metabolism in tilapia. So our working hypothesis in our laboratory is essentially that leptin evolved as a stress hormone. And let me show you why that's interesting. So if you look at this image, on the left we have a mouse that does not have functional leptin, and on the right we have a mouse that does. As you can tell, this is a very striking phenotype. The mouse on the left is morbidly obese. They show voracious hunger. They're basically insatiable. And why this happens is because the way that leptin works in a normal system in mammals is that the more fat you have, the more leptin you have. So leptin is produced by your fat, and then it circulates through the bloodstream and acts in the brain to counteract the effects of this hormone called neuropeptide Y. And the net effect is that you feel less hungry the more leptin you have. So if you don't have leptin, like this poor mouse on the left, then you're just always hungry. So when we discovered it in the 90s, and I say we, I had no role in this, but when it was discovered in the 90s, we decided, like, oh my God, we're going to cure obesity. Like, this is magic. This is amazing. Turns out that was not quite the case. Most people who are obese are actually leptin resistant. The thing about leptin is, while we know what it does in mammals to a great extent, we're really missing what it does in most other classes of vertebrates. And that's kind of what we study. So next I'm going to talk to you a little bit just about stress and the basics of stress. Stress is a very important physiological phenomena in all animals, and your ability to respond to stress and to survive stress is critical, and obviously would be evolutionarily favored. The better you are at responding to stress, the more fit your species is overall. And stress has wide ranges of effects. Like we know in humans, for example, that stress can make you more fat. Well, in the species that we study, we've shown that various stressors can actually lead to an increase in leptin. And we thought that this was, kind of interesting. I mean, I guess not. Like sometimes when you're stressed, you don't get hungry. But we wanted to tease that out. Now I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about the metabolism that I study and kind of work you through this. If you took biochemistry as an undergrad, you probably heard about it in high school biology. You just didn't learn that much about it, of the TCA cycle or the Krebs cycle. So we have this pretty cool data showing that leptin in tilapia actually decreases the expression. So when I say expression, what I mean is it decreases how much mRNA is being made from DNA, and thus how much protein can be made of a bunch of hormones related to the TCA cycle. And the TCA cycle is that bottom circle in this graph. And then at the top is processes that are related to it. And if you look, the down arrows mean decreased expression, and the up arrows mean increased expression. And yellow and down decreased, green and up increased. So the thing to know is that the TCA cycle, so this bottom circle, is an aerobic process, while glycolysis and fermentation are anaerobic processes. So what we've kind of shown is that leptin is acting to turn off aerobic metabolism and turn on anaerobic metabolism. And this is big because it goes with our whole theory that in times of stress, you would want to use less oxygen. So now I'm just going to talk to you for a minute about tilapia and why we want to use them. So from a biological standpoint, they're an excellent model for what we're interested in, stress and hormones. Tilapia are very resistant to all sorts of stress. You can take a tilapia from fresh water and put them in water 3x the salinity of the ocean and they survive. They're very resistant to hypoxic stress, just a lot of things. From an economic standpoint, aquaculture is one of the fastest growing areas of agriculture in the United States and the world, and tilapia are one of the most important species for aquaculture. From a humanitarian standpoint also, they're a very important source of protein in third world countries, and they can be grown in ponds without having to feed them. So this provides a very good way for, a subsistence farmer to feed his family and maybe even make some money in a year. So there's 3 big reasons, biology, economics, and humanitarian, that we like to study tilapia. So this is just a basic overview of what it is I do. I hope you enjoyed it, and feel free to ask me questions.